According to the United States Government Accountability Office in Washington, D.C., in July 2005, they said, in the last 2 decades, college textbooks prices have increased at twice the inflation rate, but have followed close behind tuition increases. Well, obviously by this quote, you can see rising prices of college textbooks is one of the most popular struggles that a college student has to encounter. One solution to this would be utilizing technology that we use daily. So, coming from high school into college, I already knew that textbook prices could be kind of expensive. At my old high school, junior and senior year, they actually asked us to purchase our textbooks. But what was different from high school to college was that they actually had this book sale that they would do at the beginning of the year. And most of the cases that it would be cheaper because they would be used textbooks from parents of the past year's students who've already used these textbooks. And then coming to college, they asked us to come to a bookstore. So I assumed that there would be a lot of used textbooks there that we could just grab it and go. They would be in good condition. But walking into the Blinn bookstore, I found out that most of these textbooks were new, and any used textbooks that they had were torn or written all over, so it really didn't give us much of an option. And I know for a majority of my classes, they didn't offer e-textbooks, so we couldn't utilize that, I guess, necessity. So from there, most of us can relate to one time or another where we had to purchase our textbooks, because according to the New York Times, 65% of last year's high school graduates actually went on to college. So most of us can really relate to purchasing textbooks in college. So now we'll discuss the problem that's at hand and then the solution that I have for it. Obviously, the problem is rising prices of textbooks. According to the Advisory Committee on Student Financial Assistance in Washington, D.C., in May 2007, they told us full-time students spend annually around $817 at a full-time institution for textbooks below. As you can see from this chart, you can tell that the rising inflation of textbooks is increasing significantly from 1987 to 2004. You can see that tuition has increased almost by 200%, but the textbooks following it have increased by over 100%. So I don't understand how they can leave most of us college students already having to pay tuition and fees and leave us kind of out to dry having to pay for these textbooks and not really giving us many solutions. Blinn really encourages you to buy from the bookstore, and prices are very high. And then so they offer us that you can come back and then sell these textbooks back to us. But what they actually say on their website is that you will get up to 50% of your money back. So really, there's not really a margin for us to really gain any of our money back. It's almost as if that these textbooks cost as much as gold. So my solution then is using technology. Jack Tessier discusses in his journal, Eliminating the Textbook, Learning Science with Cell Phones, how 2 classes use 2 different methods of actually learning the same subject. The class at hand was ecology, and one of the classes used textbooks while the other class used cell phones. And then at the end of the semester, they collected a bunch of data, all the averages from the classes, and see which one was actually increasing, which one was better than the other. And shockingly, they discovered that the class with cell phones actually had higher homework grades, higher quiz grades, higher test grades, and in general, their averages were higher. Obviously none of these cell phones could be used actually for the tests and actually for the quizzes, but only for studying. So whenever a teacher would offer a homework assignment, all their information that they collected would have to be found online rather than using a textbook. So my solution then would be to get students tablets. Most students already have laptops or tablets at hand or a cell phone that they can use. So what a university would do, they would go to a major company like Samsung, Apple, I guess Amazon has e-readers, and they would offer them that their students would come to them, buy products at a discounted rate that they would offer, and which Apple already does. They offer $100 off Macs if you're a student, or $50 off an iPad. So they would offer these discounted rates. Students would then be required to go and buy these technologies, take them back, and then use them throughout their 4 years. So if you look at it, they're paying $817 for every year for textbooks, when in reality, they would only have to pay $500 for an iPad, a one-time fee, or if they wanted to get a Mac, they could pay $1,000 for a one-time fee. So they would take these back, and in return, universities would offer sponsorships to these companies. So Samsung would have their logo displayed all over the school. They would have it commercials for whatever local channels that would be around. And also for all the sports teams and sports games, there would be Samsung logos plastered all around the courts, around the fields, whatever it may be. And then, so once these students attain these technologies, they would take it to the classroom. And so what the classroom would do was there would be one textbook. So each class only has one textbook. Everybody's required to get one textbook. And so this would also solve the problem of kids getting different editions, which happens a lot. Somebody would get the first edition when you really need the second edition. So a teacher would say, this is the one textbook. So if a textbook costs $400 and there was 20 students in the class, they would divide it up to where each student only has to pay $20, but everybody receives the same copy. So really you would just be dividing whatever the main price of the textbook was, and you would all be receiving that onto your e-text. And through this, they could develop applications to where teachers would be able to write notes or whatever it may be during class into the textbook, and then this would automatically go to the other students' textbooks on their iPad to where they would get all the notes the teacher said that would be a necessity for the test or whatever it may be. For me personally, I normally prefer e-textbooks because it feels like the information can be accessed more easily because you can search keywords or whatever it may be. Also, whenever you highlight, it goes to a different window automatically, so it automatically saves it there. There's also a window to where all your notes are also stored. And then, ironically, this, in a sense, makes me ecstatic to purchase textbooks because of how cheap they will be and how much of a deal that we will be receiving. So, as you can see, there is no easy solution, but honestly, I think this would be the best solution. Many companies and many universities would benefit from this because universities would be receiving part of the profits from the actual purchase of the technologies, while the companies would be receiving the larger portion of those profits as well. Technology can be really beneficial, and the way classrooms are already enforcing technology, I don't see why this would be a problem at all, considering most classrooms already use smart boards or whatever. They could really just incorporate this little aspect, but that would save students in the long run hundreds of dollars. Most of us already have these technology platforms, so why don't we just utilize them already? Many of us, it's like as if our generation is really good at using technology, but we're poor at utilizing technology. So my challenge to you is, why not already purchase these textbooks? Why not already use these e-textbooks so that we can show the larger corporations that this is what we want, we actually want to save money. So start using the e-textbooks. Thank you.
Where is this going to be?